most secrets are taken to the grave. So, of course, Corpse Bride is filled to the coffin lid with them. I want to dig into something that has its claws in nearly every scene of the movie, and how it even ties into the seemingly innocent blue butterfly. And death, of course. So join me as I dig into folklore, symbolism, and some subtle and not so subtle clues in Corpse Bride. This is the Butterfly in Blue, or Why Blue Dominates Corpse Bride. Corpse Bride starts with a blank white page welcoming us into its gray and dreary world. The very next thing we see is a black and white picture of one of our protagonists, Victor, and his red-collared pup. This is the only color we'll see for a bit as we watch the current age Victor drawing in his monochromatic quarters. The world in which he lives is gray and pale. Heck, even the ink he's using, so expertly I must say, is black on white paper, which is such a stark contrast to the creature he's capturing on the page. A lovely, spotted, brilliantly blue butterfly trapped in glass before him. The shot widens to reveal other separate drawings of the bug's head and legs in greater detail. Maybe Victor's a fledgling entomologist. He's certainly obsessive. But more importantly, maybe our artist here isn't the only one doing the watching either. Those spots on the butterfly's wings look awfully reminiscent of a certain pair of second eyes after all. Anyway, Victor, drawings done, wastes no time and does not even hesitate in setting his momentary prisoner free. The title Corpse Bride appears right as the butterfly is relishing its new freedom. Now, this opening scene is super important to the rest of the movie as a whole, as it not only sets up the film's theme, but also leads us to the story's villain. The real star in these few moments? The butterfly, and for so many reasons. In a world as dreary and desaturated as this, anything with even a speck of color to it sticks out. This, I believe, is on purpose, and I'll zero, not that zero, in on that point as we go. But the first order of business is our blue-spotted friend. This little bugger even makes a point to break the fourth wall when it rests on an opening credit text. This tells us watching that it is important. We're not just watching it, it's conversing with us, inviting us into the world directly now. It knows we're watching, paying attention, even if most of the people in the gray world are not. Heck, even the cat's more focused on food than the fluttering bug. Those who do pay attention to it, of course, Victor, who is doomed to marry death, Barkus, who causes and becomes so much death, and us. Oh no, hopefully us seeing the butterfly doesn't mean we're doomed too. But I'm getting ahead. Back to business. This story is positively drenched in both symbolism and beliefs from folklore, and all of it rests on the very fine wings of this fluttering little bug. They must be made of sturdier stuff than most. Anyway, historically, many different cultures from around the world associated butterflies with not only death, but also the soul and rebirth. For instance, in Ireland, it was once believed that butterflies were the spirits of children, or souls in search of a mother if we reference the Celts directly. In fact, it was actually illegal to kill white butterflies in Ireland during the 1600s for this very reason. These butterflies, spirits of the departed, would return to their favorite place from when they were alive in order to reassure their loved ones they were okay. Monarch butterflies became a symbol of departed loved ones in Mexico, as their migration pattern regularly had them arrive in the area on or around Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos, of course, is a very culturally significant holiday, not unlike Halloween or All Souls Day, which was adopted from pagan ritual. The tradition states that at midnight on October 31st, the gates of heaven open, allowing the spirits of children who have passed to spend a day with loved ones. This same offering is made to the spirits of adults on the day of November 2nd. Others believe that the veil between the mortal world and the beyond worlds is thinnest at this same time of year, allowing crossovers both wanted and unexpected. Now, being associated with death and rebirth is a little on the nose here with the subject matter of the story, but that's just the surface. The transformative nature of this insect, as well as the character interactions with it, are what really inform the events of this narrative. Take a moment and think about the opening scene of the film again. Let's consider both Victor's actions and how Emily relates to the butterfly. Throughout the course of the movie, Emily is going through her own metamorphosis. Before Victor accidentally proposes to her in the forest, she's in a state of waiting. In an undead cocoon in a way. She can't move on until someone agrees to marry her. Her terms as impossible as they seem. Then, against all odds, Victor does. And initially, she's so overcome with joy that she doesn't quite realize that she's holding Victor against his will. She's wished for this for so long after all. It's what's keeping her here in her metaphorical cocoon. As the story progresses and Victor makes a few escape attempts, Emily eventually comes to terms with their very different states of life, or lack thereof, that she herself is selfish for caging someone that wants to be free, and killing them. Victor's actions in the opening scene foreshadow this in a way. Victor, obsessed with butterflies as he was from the start, only kept it captive for as long as he needed to draw it, to learn from it. Just like Emily holds on to Victor, she harshly learns what she needs to about love, choices, stealing someone else's dream for her own, and revenge, etc. Once she finally learns, she stops holding Victor captive to his erroneous engagement. Just as he did with the butterfly, Emily sets Victor free, and in doing so, actually frees herself. Now, obviously this scene has a lot more going on in addition to this momentous moment, as it also features the payoff against the villain Lord Barkis, which will quite succinctly bring us back to the earlier mention of color and its importance. Color of any variety is almost entirely absent from Victor's world, the realm of the living, or upstairs as the dead call it. For the most part, it seems that only objects of importance hold any sort of saturated color or brilliance. To be more precise, anything that touches the realm of the dead is vibrant in color, begging for attention. The poison that Barkis unwittingly gulps down in triumph? Deep crimson. The butterfly? A comparatively bright blue. The wedding band that links the living and the dead also retains its saturated golden sheen throughout the movie. We see the bright red collar of Victor's dog, both in his otherwise black and white picture and in his reappearance as a very disconcerting yet loving gift from Emily. How did she know? Oh yeah, the blue butterfly had eyes, but I digress. Color in the living world is dull and carries a weight of sadness with it that's almost palpable, which is understandable considering the families that two of our protagonists have to deal with along with their agenda for wealth at their children's potential expense. However, this muted surface world is contrasted by the world of the dead beneath the surface. Down there, the environment is a positive riot of color. The lights, the clothes, the food and beverage creatures, etc. are all cheery and alive, full of lively color. Really, it's all a bit ironic. The living people are far more dead than the corpses dwelling beneath them. Color itself can carry meaning as well. As we touched on earlier, the butterfly is blue in color, but so are the newly dead or new arrivals in the underground. Physically, this could be because after death, blood becomes deoxygenated, turning the skin blue, which honestly makes Victoria's escape from Barkis even more chilling. We know now that he's a terrible guy by this point, that he kills his brides for their dowry and then books it. But Victoria is only just finding out. She is in a lot of danger. Mortal danger, to be precise. The movie plays into this, lighting her to look like Emily, or any of the dead really. She's completely lit in underworldly blue in the scene after she tells Barkis there is no money. She's actually following a procession of the dead, too. It's a not-so-subtle hint that she's edging closer to her death at the hands of Lord Barkis, whose, side note, blue hair really pops during the marriage ceremony. It fits with his Bluebeardian treatment of his wives. Blue-hairian? He is intimately linked with death because of how much he's caused. And at the end, of course, after drinking the crimson potion, he turns bright blue because now he's finally dead. Clearly, the color blue is intimately linked with the idea of death in this world. Things like this definitely flesh out the movie and can, if we're paying attention, cue us to this sort of foreshadowing, even from the very start of the movie. Remember how Victor was so obsessed with drawing the blue butterfly in the beginning? Was he perhaps contemplating death this whole time? Not in an oh happy dagger sort of way, but just bored of the boring world and its expectations, wondering if there is something more or what's beyond. It tracks with the deep-brooding aesthetic of his character and perfectly hints at what he goes through with being actively married to death and nearly ending his mortal existence to truly commit to it. The butterfly's eye-like spots also remind us that death is always watching, waiting. Emily herself is, of course, a similar shade of blue as the butterfly, further linking the two. Now, in some cultures, it was believed that blue butterflies, in addition to the aforementioned connections with death and the soul, could also represent truth and faith. Emily has finally seen the truth of what she was doing to keep Victor and Victoria apart. She herself would be a murderer. All of these things culminate in the beautiful scene at the end of the movie where Emily, after letting Victor go and confronting her killer, Barkis, transforms into a kaleidoscope of pale butterflies and appears to move on to the true afterlife now that she's found peace. And yes, a group of butterflies is called a kaleidoscope. Isn't that beautiful? This transformation shot is almost like a small celebration of the Day of the Dead in itself, and it's breathtaking. Another interesting thing to note, the butterflies transform out of Emily's clothing and veil, just like the veil between the below and the above is thinning, nay, disintegrating to allow her to pass through. As mentioned before, in many cultures, it's believed that there is a veil between the mortal and the beyond worlds. This only further plays into that. It's a subtle thing, but a cool thing. However, with Emily apparently ascending beyond the immortal plane begs the question, was the underground some sort of purgatory? I wonder if the other inhabitants also have some sort of unfinished business that's preventing them from moving on as well. The more blue, the more likely? Another time perhaps. Corpse Bride is packed full of deeper meaning everywhere you look. From the cautious hopefulness of the butterfly to the probably dark insinuation arising from this poor old dearie catching the bouquet that Emily tossed behind her in the final scene, it probably doesn't help that Maggot gives her a somewhat flirtatious and telling look when she catches it. Like he'll be seeing her underground very soon, wink wink. She certainly wasn't too keen on holding on to the flowers in any case. Blue has left a mark in every scene. It's everywhere, just like death is everywhere. Which is no surprise because, hello, this movie is literally called Corpse Bride. I know. This is evident from the first scene, again, the butterfly scene, where the gray living are too busy with their death-like lives to notice the vibrance right in front of them. Just a breath, well, lack thereof, away. They have to die to start living. And this is far from the only movie to use blue in this way. Heck, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio uses blue to denote death, and the keeper of the world of the dead is blue. In the original Pinocchio story, Pinocchio meets the blue child fairy before he dies too. But whether it's subtle or flying in your face, it's there for us to see. Corpse Bride takes the wedding saying, something borrowed, something blue, to the extreme. From the outset, the blue butterfly asks us to consider if we are living drearily like the townsfolk that don't see it, who are living death in a way. Or are we embracing the life we have before it's too late? And speaking of too late, I have a second channel, A Bit Late, where I've read nearly 200 ghost stories and fairy tales. It's soothing and spooky. However, YouTube has changed how it's doing ads, which means after a soft-spoken story, you could be spooked out of sleep by a loud ad, which is exactly the opposite vibe we want. But there is a place where you can listen to all of these without interruption, and that place is Nebula. I've uploaded every story there, including unreleased as yet and remastered ones. These stories work really well with Nebula's app that acts like a podcast, so you can take them on the go or into dreamland. Videos from this main A Bit Frank channel are also on Nebula first, before they live on YouTube. So by joining Nebula, you can get ahead on the theories and stories. But why Nebula? Not only are there no ads to haunt you, but because Nebula is creator-owned and operated, it more directly supports this channel to watch over there. Just let us know how you got there by using my links for a generously discounted rate on memberships. Thanks Nebula for supporting me and this channel, and I hope to see you over there very soon. I love how this film uses color to help tell the story. But what are your thoughts? What color and hidden meaning stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you, friends and fiends, for digging into this creepy, colorful, overthought Corpse Bride video. There is some much darker lore surrounding this particular story, so let me know if you would like to venture with me down that path in the forest. Do subscribe so you won't miss the next treat coming out of the cauldron quite soon. Goodbye!